Hey everybody, it's Andrew. Welcome to Atomo Sunday, January 22, 2023. I was thinking of doing shenanigans and talking about all the stuff that's going on. There's more than enough stuff out there about the thing going on in the globalist crowd that I wanted to take a tangent on that. I was doing some research on some stuff today, looking at computer not computer equipment exactly, but robotic stuff. And given I got young kids, how to get them into doing STEM type stuff. And I think robotics covers so many great avenues. And then, well, something came up while I was looking at that. So here's the premise before I jump into it is given that we have countries like China, India, perhaps on the rise, they have large populations. And you would think with large populations, there might be uh, different type, or you might see them showing pretty well in robotics competitions. And there's a lot of assumptions that I'm playing with here. But I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll play this out. If you have a country with a really large population and pretty decent, GDP and financial ability, and China would be no slouch in that area. We know the USA definitely. Uh, I think India as well. There's so many technology people that come out of India that I thought, well, there's probably some resounding level of uh, maybe participation. And again, because I don't know all the vectors and potential um, reasons why these countries may or may not be in a specific competition. So I'll give you, I'll run through it and I'll give you what I've seen. So let's just share some stuff on the screen. All right. So what I've done is there's this. So, you know, first off, out of the gate, no financial advice, no legal advice, no medical advice. Not that there's going to be any here in the robotics. And I'm not sponsoring or advocating any sort of set or manufacturer of this equipment. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm trying to go through all of them and find, okay, well, who's running kind of the largest competition? So, what I did is I ran some of these things through Chat GPT as well. Might as well, tool is there. I'm going to use the AI to help me and narrow down a series of robotics competitions. A couple of the competitions didn't involve kits. So I thought, well, what I might think is, and this may be a part of the assumptions that changes a bit of the calculus here. But if you provide a kit, and most of these kits are built in China anyhow, so it's not that from the kits that I've been seeing, I just go and get one of these. So, all right, so here's what I have is this isn't a competitive kit. This is just something I got off of Amazon. Again, I'm not I'm not getting nothing for this product. I'm not advertising the product in any way. We're just basically taking a look. Um, I'm taking a look at the box here, and what I'm specifically looking for is where has it been manufactured? Um, Gives me some distribution stuff. Just distributed. What I'm really looking for is, does it say made in China? And they really didn't make it easy for me to see where the actual kit is manufactured. But I know for the most part, I got some similar kits. I got another one, the Abolix that's definitely out of China as well. So why I'm saying that is just so that it's, if it's built in China, it's almost universally available in the world. If it's built in some other country and it has some proprietary stuff, they may not distribute it everywhere. So it's simple motors and plastic components. And from building drones, I know you can get a lot of these motors and stuff out of Alibaba or AliExpress, and then assemble them yourself once you got an idea. After you've done a couple of kits, I do drone building. After a couple of kits, I can just freestyle it and then try different things. So let's go to this. So what am I trying to show here? Well, first, what I'm going to do is, it looks like in this I'm picking the Vex one because it looks like the Vex has different levels. So in one of the competitions, like RoboCup, you have to build your own robot out of, you basically have to engineer your parts. By coming out of a kit, this allows an ease of entry. It also allows a normalization of the competition. So it takes away some of the skills necessary to build some of these robots, and creates an easier entry level. So I thought, well, researching these, that I may have they're the field of people who can be involved in this can be quite large. So if I go to the Vex IQ, it's just showing that there's different competitions, but they give a little button here called World Skills Standing. I thought, oh, okay. Click. Okay. So look what you see here. In the standings, the top three: China, Taiwan, and the USA. And China, China, Taiwan, China, China, USA, China, China, USA, China, USA, USA, China, USA, China, China, USA. Canada shows up. So we got Taiwan, Australia starts to pop up here as I go lower in these rankings. More United States and Canada showing up. Continuing on, more Taiwan. So we get a sense here. Oh, look, see, even Turkey shows up. Okay. That's great to see. And New Zealand showing up. So it's showing me that, okay, this, even a group like Turkey showing up. Great. So and I know if I do some searching here, if I just do a drop down and take a look, is Singapore showing up? And it does its loady thing. Not for this specific group. This is the IQ group. It's more kids. Does Mexico show up? Guess what? Mexico is even showing up here. Okay. And let's pick another country that we think might have a representation. Oh, I know. Let's go into United Arab Emirates. So it looks like they don't have it down at this level, but let's hold that thought. So you saw, let's go back to this one again. It tells us what, I'll jump back here. This is an elementary and middle school. So probably starting at maybe grade 3 in North America here, I believe, and going up to middle school, maybe grade 6, 7, and then grades maybe 9 or 8, 9, 10 to 12 to 11, and then there's the university one. So let's jump over to, I was loading them up earlier. I thought, okay, doesn't matter. World Skilled Standing. So now we lifted ourselves up to the next age category, if I were to call it that. And now we got some of the looks like some of the secondary students, schools popping in. Hang on, let me just pop back here again. So Vex, yes, so Vex is middle and high school. Okay, great. All right, here we go. So what's happening now? We got United States, Canada, Taiwan shows up again, lots of United States and Canada, China then comes up at number 43. So you saw that they were dominating in the lower levels, but now all of a sudden, I would think that dominance would carry on. So again, things that I don't know is whether is the program newer in China and now it's being rolled out more and more people are getting involved. It takes time for those kids to level up into the higher levels. Japan shows up. I would expect Japan to be there a lot more, but more Canada and Taiwan. So United States, of course. Yeah, so United States is now ruling the roost here by the looks of it when it comes to this age category. So then let's jump over to the university level and do our world standings. Okay, so now we see United States, we're at university level, Hong Kong, Macau. Okay, so kind of a China-ish, I guess Hong Kong, China-ish. Yeah, yes, it's China now, but there's some history in and some inertia from when it used to be British owned. Mexico shows up. So okay, great. So now Mexico's jumping in there. We get China, Puerto Rico, Australia jumping in there. Some more Puerto Rico. Mexico's got, Mexico's showing some thunder here. Again, more United States, Australia, Mexico, was some Canada there. Okay, thankfully the University of Waterloo is showing up there. I would hang my head in shame. I'm not from Waterloo, didn't attend Waterloo, but there's some Canada bragging rights with Waterloo, and because I'm from Canada, Queen's University. Okay, that's expected as well. I expect. I come from Ontario, and our joke was, how many Queen's student does it take to hold up a light bulb? We say one, they hold up the light bulb, and the whole universe revolves around them. So that's the Queen's joke. Okay. So okay, well, so let's come back to the premise here. I showed you, again, through this competition by showing you that if we go into the earlier years of the competition, the earlier years being younger people getting involved in this, you see China has a very good showing here. But as we roll up, then it kind of falls off, especially when the kids get older. Either do their interests change or what's changing within the environment that leads to, okay, even at the university level, you do get some China showing, but it's definitely United States showing up here quite a bit. All right, there's a drone one, so if you're clicking around and wanting to look at this, just note the drone one is only open to the United States, so I didn't include that in my analysis. I'll just use the other three because it gives me that age level. So we'll jump out of that. So this is I call this an Un-Shenanigans show because I'm just looking at, okay, well, if China, and again, to take this is just one little data point. What if China and India, for example, given that they have large populations, I'm now wondering, well, how well are they leveraging that brain trust? And you can say, well, there's a competition. This just not that doesn't show anything about the world. And there's data points that come up. So I have people that I know who are extremely high up in areas of doing business analysis, doing business architecture. And by high up, I mean they run the conferences or they are the top level speakers at conferences. They're extremely good at what they do. And one of them has told me that the Chinese are really hungry for Western management understanding. Oh, I know I do a lot with geopolitics here, and one thing you have to understand is while we may have people here in North America poo-pooing, things Western and saying, it's all rooted in, and they use supremacy words and all that stuff. Let it be known that there are countries out there that understand that North America specifically has figured some things out very well. Germany is another good one. They figure things out very well. I worked with Germans at a high level who know how to redesign industries, and they are extremely good thought leaders. So China wants this brain trust. And from what one of my friends was saying when he was comparing China and then going over to Russia, what he was finding was Chinese were far more hungry for management information and technological know-how. And Russians, he found like it's almost like they just didn't care. Maybe it was the generation that he's working with, and that generation in Russia doesn't care. But one thing, as we might maybe poo-poo the CCP or other like those places in China, and that's part of. I'm not putting together the full analysis here, but my wondering is, I know and I'm not again, I'm not shilling for any political party here within China, which kind of only is one. The idea here is, well, in order to get into that party, I'm assuming you have to be the best of the best. I'm going to hold that assumption because you have to give them credit where credit's worth. And I think from some of the research that I'm doing is that it might not be, your old daddy's type of still. I don't agree with all the things that a communist government's doing, and I think this is why I'm showing you these type of results, is given that in the USA there is a very specific constitution, there's a very specific Bill of Rights that allows a type of enterprising individual to do well. And you saw from those results that USA is all over the place in that. Are they a rich country? For the most part, yes, that helps. So is India, so is China. And it's a matter how do you want to allocate those resources to create the foundations on which your people are going to elevate themselves, and then what opportunities are you providing them when they attain those skills? Are those skills actually consumable within the country that help them attain that skill? If not, then like anything, money goes where it's treated best. And if you know what your worth is, that means you will go to where you're treated best. And if that is going to the United States, going to Canada, or these other countries that have an open way of doing entrepreneurial enterprises and being able to get ahead, then people might go there. So it's just something to think about, saying, well, China and India are going to dominate at one point in time. Perhaps they will, but it's how well are they allocating the resources? How well are they allocating the brain trust? So as I mentioned before, you need energy as one of your things. You need finances as another. Once you got energy and finances that empower that brain trust you have, then you're off to the races. So it's one of the things that I'm seeing supporting a bit of my analysis is seeing these standings is USA has a good amount of energy cheap available to them. Why is this important? Cheap energy is important because it allows people who don't have very much to be able to participate better. So if some of these countries here, or perhaps if we were to change the energy infrastructure, and I noticed when I was doing the searching, I wasn't finding any European groups in this competition. I don't know why. I have to do a bit of a deeper search on that. I searched Germany, the UK. It just seems Europe is not in this VEX thing. So there might be things from or elements of my assumption that are not panning out or something that I don't know yet, and I'll have to do some more research on that. So, making your energy cheap, not necessarily meaning dirty. Dirty doesn't necessarily mean cheap in the long run. Dirty comes with cost, so I'm not trying to take a sustainability lens here and poo-poo on it. Sustainability is extremely important, and if you know produce energy with no inclination to ecology or sustainment of your environment within your particular borders, that's going to come back and bite you. I got some stories on that. I won't share that here at this point in time. I just wanted to put that forward. You have to pay for those cleanup costs, or else nobody wants to live in a completely dirty and garbage area. I think we all have to understand this. So, um, cheap energy, giving you rise to the brain trust with the proper financial compensation or infrastructure in order to put some of these. And that might be another element, is maybe some of these places don't have the financial infrastructure to run robotic competition. It requires an amount of excess insofar as what you need in order to live. There's additional room above that for some discretionary spending, and then it gets rolled into, if you have programs rolling that back into engineering and science and technology, then you can create the people of the future that can come up with sustainability solutions without creating some sort of centralist one world government to kind of damn you all if you got it wrong. And then uh, you know kids working in this robotic stuff might not become a thing, because my worry is that these type of competitions uh, come into existence because of that spirit of competition, spirit of enterprise, and having some friendly fun. And then out of that, these kids gain a lot of skills. So that's my Un-Shenanigans for today. There's hope in areas, and as much as you might read in the news of all the stuff going on, just take a look at what's happening and try to get involved if you see kids doing great and awesome things and they're not falling into any of the political ideologies. They're just being kids, growing their brains and doing fun stuff. Find a way to help them out.